Welcome to Lizards Inc., a show where two lizard people learn more about human society in a world of ever-growing danger. Today's topic, survival. Last time on Lizards Inc., Nalon and Xela were finally confronted by Regor and Luas. After a chase through the city, Nalon and Xela are blocked off by the assailants.
Why aren't you running?
What do you mean?
I yelled, "Run, lizard boy, run!" automatically.
Yeah, but you also paused like this is the end of some sort of episodic series.
Maybe because I was waiting for you to run?
I'm with him on this one, Delicious. Half the flavor comes from fear and chase.
Thank you! Finally, someone gets it. We need to keep this one around.
Luas clenches his fists and grits his teeth. He stares down Regor with murderous intent.
Get them! Oh, right.
Suddenly, Nalon pulls something from his pocket and throws it on the ground. The area is enveloped by a cloud of smoke. Once it clears, Nalon and Xela are in the distance running away. Xela trips and Nalon grabs him, dragging him along. This is fine. This is fine.
This is not fine! They're getting away!
Luas runs off after them in a rage. Regor smiles, excited to feast. He leaps into the air, beginning to jump from building to building. As the sounds of destruction grow louder, Nalon picks up the pace as he drags Xela along.
What was that back there? Smoke bombs! You'll learn really quickly how important they are to buy.
What does that?
Xela looks back in horror to see the massive lizard tearing through buildings. As if by instinct, Xela gets out of Nolan's grasp and runs past him.
We gotta get to the outskirts. I know a place where we can hide out there.
Oh, no. We are not joining some ragtag group of terrorists who label themselves as rebels, mister.
I already told you, I don't want to be a martyr. We'd be nomads at best. Besides, we have to escape first.
Nalon and Xela reach the outskirts of the city. The city lights begin to disappear as the lizards have only the orange light from the glow moss and the cave roofs above. Crashes and explosions can still be heard in the distance. Nalon stops and looks in horror at the sight above him. He whips his head down toward Xela.
Xela! Incoming!
Xela stops, finally noticing that Nalon had stopped moving. He looks up and screams in fear.
Incoming? What do you mean? Oh my god! What is that giant hunk of man?
From the top rope! Well, really from the top of a building. Regor had hurtled himself toward the two lizards. Xela and Nalon try to run further from the impact. Suddenly, a crash occurs where Xela stood. Nalon is thrown down on his back. He stands up, catching his breath. The dust clears, revealing an injured Xela under Regor.
Why, Ayana?
Unsure of what he'd even do, Nalon pulls up his sleeves and rushes at Regor. Suddenly, he feels the wind leave him as Luas drop kicks Nalon from behind. Nalon gets up and swings at Luas. He's knocked back down. Luas grabs Nalon and throws him at Regor. Regor kicks Nalon back to Luas. The two lizards play tennis with Nalon's body. Nalon lies slumped over on the ground. Regor launches him into the air where Luas meets to spike him back down.
What is that sound?
Xela slowly opens his eyes and turns toward the sound. He watches his friend get pummeled to the ground. He tries to crawl toward them. Regor looks back at Xela with a wicked smile. Xela feels his body freeze. Regor turns back and grabs Nalon, holding him in the air.
What's so special about this one anyway? He doesn't seem like a threat, more like a pet hamster.
Nalon Naknud, employee at this colony's Lizard Inc. in the North American Propaganda Division. Spotless record until a few months ago when he started looking into humans. After the city was locked down, he was periodically going off the grid. There are reports of him communicating with local terrorist organizations and possibly even possessing illegal information.
What I'm hearing is he's a dangerous entity who's better off in Mabele.
He might contain useful information.
Or he could contain great flavor. The file said dead or alive, after all. And if he isn't actually connected to these organizations, then there's no use for him. Come on, look at him. He'd make a great snack. I'll even let you turn in the other one for re-education, and that's the one I want to eat.
How do we know? This lizard was able to make multiple communications with the human world. You were too busy chasing them earlier, but I saw the stuff he had. Even if we can't get the terrorists, we can still use what he has. This might be the best source we've had for a while. On a box that sits on Regor's belt, a green light suddenly turned on. Regor's eyes rolled into the back of his head. His jaw opened, even unhinging as if to swallow Nalon whole.
No, imbecile!
Regor's eyes went wide as he froze. Nalon fell to the ground, hitting it with a loud thud. Regor's arm dropped to his side, and his torso separated from its waist. Regor's body hit the ground. Xela stared in fear as Luas stood in front of the two bodies, long, scaly blades protruding from Luas's hands. He stands up, eyes piercing through Xela.
What?
Xela tries to speak, but cannot muster up the courage. He hears a scream fill the area, and feels his voice go hoarse, realizing it is his own. Luas continues to advance.
In all my years of work, not one lizard has given me this much trouble. Yet somehow, the most uninteresting, idiotic, unoriginal, unappealing, no-name, run-of-the-mill, pathetic, powerless duo of lizards has been the most annoying ones yet.
Luas retracts the blade from his left hand. He grabs Xela by the neck and throws him to the ground onto his back.
Well, how's it feel? You get your adrenaline rush? Do you finally think your worthless, minuscule existence finally matters? I am Luas Luxman. I am one of the greatest lizard agents out there. How dare a mere office worker make a mockery of me?
Luas raises his right arm high, ready to cut down Xela. As Luas brings his arm down, a stubby figure knocks him down. Regor's top half had tackled Luas and was now trying to eat him alive. Luas stands trying to pull Regor off. Regor's claws dig into Luas' skin, tearing him open. Regor's mouth clenched tightly on Luas' right shoulder.
Get off me, you sadistic hound!
Luas' right arm is ripped off as Regor is thrown off. Regor gets up and crawls at Luas, but has half of his head cut off by the blade on Luas' left arm. Open wounds cover Luas as he struggles to heal. Xela finally gets up, trying to flee. Luas starts hobbling over to the scared Xela.
Xela! Throw your hands up!
Hearing the voice, Xela does as he's told. As if by instinct, scales launch from Xela's hands, piercing the wounds on Luas. Luas continues his advance. Xela launches more scales, unable to run. He falls back. No longer able to fire more scales. Nalon jumps in, shorter blades extended from his own arms. He stabs Luas and throws him to the ground.
Get up!
Nalon grabs Xela's hand and pulls him up. Nalon slaps Xela back into focus.
Come on. There's no turning back now. We have to do this.
Nalon charges at the now standing Luas. His attack is parried and he's knocked away. Luas charges at Xela. Xela throws up his arms as if it's blocked. Scales fly up and reflect the light, temporarily blinding Luas. He stumbles back. Nalon rushes up behind and jumps onto Luas' back. He stabs his blades into Luas' back, but is thrown off. Luas rips out the scales, piercing him. Xela fires more scales that are dodged by Luas. Xela keeps firing, frustrating Luas. Luas tackles Xela and pins the lizard to the ground.
Die! Suck my ballistic scales!
Xela fires a scale that Luas quite easily dodges. Nalon charges into Luas, knocking him off Xela. Nalon stabs Luas' stomach, but is cut by a backhand from Luas. Nalon reels back and drops to the ground, a visible cut on his chest. Luas stoops over Nalon. Xela catches the misfired scale and rushes at Luas, screaming.
I told you to suck it!
Xela shoves the scale through Luas' mouth, down his throat, cutting and weakening him. Luas chokes on the scale as well as his own blood. Xela pulls his arm back as Nalon raises his fist to Luas' chin and extends the blade through Luas' head. Xela pulls Nalon out from under Luas' corpse. The two lizards catch their breath and stare at the body of their foe. His body, forever stained with a look of rage and hatred. Xela drops to his knees.
What did I? How did I? My hand, scales.
Nalon pats Xela on the back. He looks back at the city of Scaliopolis. He sighs and pulls Xela up.
We've got a long road ahead of us.
What happened? Did we just kill that guy?
A lot happened. Our history is filled with secrets we can't even begin to imagine. Abilities and powers, tales and treasures, all lost because someone or something wants to keep not just humans, but all of us in check. We all have abilities, Xela. They were just locked away because we weren't taught about them. They only emerge when a lizard pushes themselves beyond a need to survive.
Xela looked down at his hand as Nalon spoke. He continued to follow Nalon. The two lizards continued to walk for a few hours. The glow moss on the cave roof had turned purple, signaling nighttime. The two lizards reached the cave wall.
What are you doing here, man? This isn't safe. This is the flipping border.
Don't worry, there's a way through.
No, I'm sick of this. Where's the cameras? I want to go home and eat my cricket soup right now.
Xela falls to his knees, tears filling his eyes. He looks up at Nalon, realizing the truth.
You can turn back, but there's no going back. You saw it. You did nothing wrong, but they were going to kill you.
Nalon pulled back a bush, revealing a hole.
Nowhere's safe. All we can do is survive.
Okay, fine.
Xela nods and stands. Nalon leads the lizards into the hole. Back at the site where the fight occurred, a group of lizards in military uniforms began jumping out of a convoy truck. They all combed the scene. Photos were taken to keep track of evidence. Some soldiers scavenged the right arm of Luas. His standing corpse was set ablaze. Off to the side, the top part of Regor's body lay still. With the head cut open, parts of his brain spilled out slightly. One soldier tapped the corpse with a stick, only for a hand to twitch. A high-ranking soldier sat in the truck talking to a superior officer over a radio as screams can be heard in the distance.
We're almost done. Some things are barely distinguishable, and others are more difficult to contain.
I don't care. Bring everything back. The science division needs to do its part for once.
The high-ranking soldier hangs up and presses a button on a remote. The screams of a violent lizard can be heard before going silent. Nalon and Xela continue to make their way through the tunnel. Xela is panting and growing tired.
How are you so athletic? You're the fat one of us.
I walk a lot.
How much farther?
Almost there. Almost there, buddy.
A light shines in Nalon's face. A smile forms, and he rushes towards it.
So light means good this time?
Nalon's smile goes wider as he sees a field of green before him. Xela looks up, surprised by the lack of a cave roof.
It's so blue.
Oh, it's grass and dirt. It's grass and dirt, Xela.
The two lizards fall on their backs, enjoying the sight. In the distance within the woods, a man crazily staggers his way through. He brushes off his tinfoil hat and places it on his head. His path set to cross with our heroes.